Hi Friendzonies, what's up? Thanks for tuning back into another Keeping It Real with Danie Steele. So I want to talk today about going home. Going home. Where do we go home? As African Americans, where do we go home? Now I know a lot of people will say, I'm not African American, I'm American. But unfortunately for you, America tends to disagree with you. I think Tiger Woods found that out the Hazard way. When he got pulled over, and there's no combination box, so you can make little categories for yourself, and that's fine. But then there's the category that America will tend to put you in. So as African Americans, again, where do we go home? Why do I say this? Because we are a minority group in America. That's a fact. What does minority mean? Does it mean lesser? No. I feel like you have to explain everything when you get into these subjects. Minority simply means you're not the majority of the people here in America. I think that's something that a lot of black people tend to not understand, because a lot of black people live in places where there are other large numbers of black people. They're not the majority, but they feel like the majority. They feel like, hey, there's a lot of us here. That's probably why you live there, but there's just not. There's not a lot of you, and you're not the majority. America knows this, and America runs according to this knowledge, which is why you might notice the president that you currently have today, which, he was put into office because of a major white lash, as they say, if you will. White people were tired of seeing black people walk around, hey, my president black, and, feeling good about themselves. They're tired of that, so they were like, even though this guy is shit, I'm gonna go for this guy, because that'll put you in your place. So anyways, again, I'll ask the question, where do African Americans go to go home? What I feel is important about empowering yourself as an African American, and I don't only feel this way, obviously, many people feel this way. That's why they've done the work, is having a knowledge of why it's important to empower yourself as an African American. A lot of African Americans have been neutralized. That is the goal of structural supremacy, right? The way that things are run in this country feeds into black people feeling disenfranchised, black people being disenfranchised. People hate when you say that I'm oppressed or I'm disenfranchised as a black person. They're like, you've got as much opportunities as I have, as a non-black person, and that's simply not the case. Don't let anybody tell you that, but it's hard to fight these arguments if you don't have a knowledge of self. So we're going to start with step one. Where do African Americans call home? What do African Americans call home? Where do they go to for home? Why don't African Americans have an embassy? We saw what happened when they attacked the Asian man, I believe he was Chinese, on the airplane. Okay, China reacts, right? That's one of our people. But if you do something to an African American, what African country is going to react? Now we have to remember, Africa is a continent with many countries. They've lopped us in as African American because they don't know where they stole us from. They didn't keep records. They didn't let us keep the records. So where do we come from? Who's our embassy? Who's our ambassador? Who's going to fight for us when we feel that as a minority group in this country, which we are, we're not the majority, okay, we're not being treated fairly? Who do we call? Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters! A lot of y'all calling Ghostbusters, right? Calling on that higher power, it's gonna be okay at the end of time, in the next life. Okay, but what are you gonna do right here, right now? Who's got to answer for that? So we need to answer the question of, where do we come from? And once again, as I've said before, I believe in reparations. Why do I believe in reparations? Because I've seen the trajectory that America has placed African Americans on. Not black immigrants, not people whose parents just came here, and though they face anti-blackness and racism, there's a very specific life path of belonging to the African American group, period. And you need to understand this. Where do you come from? Because an African immigrant who knows what country they come from if they come from Nigeria, if they come from Jamaica, right? If they come from Ghana, wherever they come from, they know where they come from. They know where their embassy is located. They have culture, long history that they know of. What about African Americans' culture and history? It's been skewed. It's been warped. Because what kind of sense does it make that America would let you be here as strong and as powerful as you are with all of this knowledge of self? What kind of sense does that make? Do you think they would let you do that? Why do they allow the other groups to have this? Well, because quite simply and plainly, the other groups were never their slaves. When I talk about reparations, I want to be clear about the fact that America owes African Americans money and resources for how it has done African American people throughout the course of its history. Period. You have not done this to any other group. So why should they ask for it? No other group has been treated the way African Americans have been treated. Again, I'll ask the question, where do we go home? What do we call home? Where's our embassy? Who's our ambassador? We don't have it. We don't have it. When I go to get my nails done, whether the women are from China, Japan, Nepal, they always tell me about how, one, they enjoy their work because it helps them to give money back to their families where they're from. And they tell me about how they go home for like at least a month out of the year. They'll go home. So therefore they can deal with how they feel they're treated. They can regroup a lot better than a people who have no place to regroup, who have no language of their own. You have no language of your own. It was taken away. And America feels they don't have to pay for that? You don't know what country you're from, your family history, and America feels they don't have to pay for that? Somebody's got to pay for it. Somebody benefited from it, and someone's got to pay for it. It's quite simple. When I went to Ireland, I had a layover and was there for like 4 or 5 hours, okay, on my way to Italy last year. They have a program where they're trying to get Irish American people to come back to Ireland, okay, and they'll treat you well because they want to empower Irish people. They don't look at Irish Americans and say, well, you went over to America, so now you're not Irish. But that's the treatment that a lot of African Americans get from Africans. As though African Americans got on a boat and came here ourselves. That didn't happen. So in Ireland, you know, they want to start teaching Gaelic again, their language that they feel was taken away from them, and they want to empower their people with the knowledge and the power of having their own language. How are we going to do that as African Americans? How do we find our own language? Everything we say to one another, this video right now, I would love to be speaking this video in a language that, you know, only African Americans can hear, because honestly, this particular video, though not all my videos are for only African Americans, but this particular video is African American centered. It's for African American ears. But everybody gets to hear it because they took our language. They took our right to be able to speak to each other. So where do we go home? You have to understand that that was taken away from you. Now, do you get angry about it and, you know, kick a garbage can and keep it moving? No. You read more. Like, what? Yeah, they took that away. What else did they take away, and why? Why? Empower yourself. Empower your children. In other countries, revolutions are inevitable because the children are taught, hey, this is the real deal. This is what's going on. In America, African Americans send their children to schools run predominantly by white people with predominantly white teachers. And then they're surprised that these children don't have pride in themselves. Who was supposed to teach it if you're not going to do it? Their white teacher? Why would she teach them pride in themselves? What does she know about teaching them pride in themselves? You have to know how to respond. So shout out to everyone that asked me, did I really take the red pill? Yeah, I did. I really did. That's why my nails is red. Okay? I'm joking. But yeah, I really did. I have a lot of knowledge on a lot of things. I love it. I'm an actor. I don't sit down and watch hours and hours of TV shows. Though I encourage you to watch anything that I'm on. Okay, you can watch whatever you want to watch, but how are you gonna be dumb and be watching TV? What are you filling your head with? Watch PBS. Watch documentaries, watch stuff that matters, that can empower you, that can educate you. That's what I do when I watch TV, except for Game of Thrones. Hey, it's coming up. It's coming up. Hey, Jon Snow, you know what it's about. Okay. I'm here for it. Game of Thrones, Walking Dead, Archer, South Park, Family Guy. I literally watched like half a dozen TV shows, that also happen to be amazing shows. But the point is, okay, back to the point, where do we go home? Who's our ambassador? Where's our embassy? Who's fighting for us? And the answer is sad. It really is. And if you don't even have these questions in your mind, to find the answers, I definitely plan on taking a DNA test, figuring out exactly where, my people are from and all that. But at the same time, I feel like that's something America should grant to African Americans off the cuff. How are you going to take it away from us and then we got to pay $100 to get the answer? Y'all should be paying for that. They're like, how are we going to do reparations? How are we going to do it? Figure it out. Because you told the slaves that you would give them something. You never gave it to them. You told the people after the civil rights movement that you would give them something. You never gave it to them. You have to give it. You can't just keep being like, well, I can't stand somebody owing me something. That's some bum shit. You owe me something. You have to pay it back. I don't care how you figure it out. I've got a lot of great ideas about it. There needs to be an African American endowment. African Americans should be able to go to any school of their choice and not have to pay for anything that they get accepted to, obviously. And if you've already been in school, then, hey, that's forgiven. That's the least you can do. That's the least. And it's very plausible. So there's a lot of ways you can do that. You don't want to do it. Somebody asked me on my red pill video, what do I think about the alt-right? Oh, you'll have to subscribe. You'll have to subscribe for that answer, okay? And many more thoughts that I have. Please, subscribe, comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are on this particular subject, on the disenfranchisement of African Americans, having a place to call home, and on further empowering yourself with knowledge of what is going on here. That's important. Okay? Glad I had this talk with you. Again, don't forget to subscribe, share the video, and leave a comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Talk to you soon. Bye.